All right, it says we're live. So hello, happy Sunday and happy Father's Day. So it's I think is it only Father's Day in the US? Probably. Happy Father's Day anyway. And happy person, just tell whoever was your fathering influence that you love them today. As long as that fathering influence was positive. Anyway, what an awkward note to start on. Hello, I'm awkward. Nice to meet you. It is a Sunday. It is, we are closing in on the end of the month. We have 10 days, including today. I think that's right. Maybe not including today, but essentially we have 10 days to the end of the month. The end of the quarter as well. So we need to start thinking about how to set goals for ourselves in quarter 3. So whether or not you have some deadlines that you want to meet within these next 10 days, or if you are planning for deadlines for the next quarter, or if you're planning for Camp Nano in July next month, that also could be a thing that you need to be outlining, planning, setting goals for, etc., etc. This year has just flown by, and yet there's just been so much about this year and last year that just sort of blended together, because not having your normal routines or breaks from the action and that kind of stuff it's confusing. But yeah, so today I'm going to be doing a little bit of planning for next week because it's Sunday. Trying to set myself up for a successful week next week, and getting some things done that I have been putting off, shall we say. I've been dawdling. So, and to do that, I actually have to still get the OBS and my video editing software downloaded to this laptop, the new laptop, because I haven't done that yet, so that I can actually film videos with OBS and record sound and everything, as well as then edit it, so I can start making videos other than live streams again, because I've been procrastinating that too. So just I've been procrastinating everything, and I would like to get everything set up again to where I can be a little bit more productive in next quarter, because I feel like this quarter was kind of meh in a lot of regards. So Christina says, hello, hope you are doing well. Yes. And Sonia says, hey. And Devin says, howdy. And Devin says, it's Sunday, which means HK has new timers. Yes, she does. And I have one pulled up. They're pretty. So Elizabeth says, hello, everyone. Finally back from a successful graduation. Hooray! And a live mountain hike trip. Wonderful. Wonderful. Becca C Smith is here. Hello. And Becca just posted a video today about Camp Nano goals, and the little dragon on your shoulder is adorable. And I'm looking forward to what you're doing in July, and also looking forward to your DIY sound recording booth video that you had mentioned you were going to do. So Megan says, hello. Christina, I can't believe we are nearly in July. Right? Like the year is almost halfway over, which is yikes. Just like, how did that happen? Diana says, hello, welcome. Yay for more videos. Yes, indeed. I need to actually do that and get a little bit more comfortable with editing. That way I don't feel so intimidated by the whole process. So whoop whoop for more videos. By the way, do you guys know of any simple but good free editing software? So Davinci Resolve is the one that I had downloaded previously, and it is free. They have like a paid version as well, like a paid pro version, but it allows you to do just about anything that one of the other like more expensive or more quote unquote professional editing softwares do. And there are also tutorials all over YouTube as well. So when I forget how to make like a Fusion clip, I'm like, how did I do this again? I just YouTube, Google it. So, and there are plenty of tutorials. So, so that's what I have used in the past is Davinci Resolve. I don't know if anybody else has recommendations. I do know that a lot of people I have seen use just like if they're filming on their iPhones, they just use the Apple editing software. What is it? iMovie. But I'm not sure how extensive you can get with other like Photoshop-esque things or script on top of the movie with iMovie. I'm not sure. So that might also be something to look into if you have an Apple product. But yeah. So, all right. I have not pulled a card for today, which I slept in. I didn't want to get up. It was a very lazy, especially not get up until far past morning. Actually, I got at like I think 11:30 because I was just like I don't want to. Yeah, that was the vibe for this morning. All right, so our main spirit animal card is the Groundhog Spirit. Time to let go. He's holding a little heart. It's cute. There we go. So the Groundhog Spirit says time to let go. So if you are holding on to something that you shouldn't emotionally, now might be the time to think about letting it go. If you are holding on to a project that has been giving you issues, now might be the time to set it aside and work on something else. Or if your brain has been nagging at you to write something, maybe it's time to do that. Let go of your resistance. Whatever letting go of means to you, that's maybe something that you should think about. All right, and the Seven of Wands, it was in the inverse position, so the upside down. So with this, you have the idea of sort of like home and then perhaps an intruder coming in. So upside down, I don't remember right off the top of my head, so I'm gonna have to look at my cheat sheet. Let's pop open my cheat sheet and go down to the Wands. It's the 7. The reversed means possibility of vulnerability, confusion, anxiety, indecision, or hesitation. So this is the 7 of Wands is normally the upright position is normally the courage, valor, victory in this possible uncomfortable situation. So in the reverse, it's warning against that. So maybe if you are being vulnerable and confused and anxious, it's time to let go of those. So maybe that's what that means. I don't know. I am still learning my interpretations, and how you interpret them may be different as well. So that's kind of just the vibe for right now. The other cards were both cups. We have the 3 and the 10 as well, if you were curious as to what the other 2 cards for today are. Anyway, I'm going to be working on a couple of different things. I have specifically not pulled up the Anatomy of Prose because I think I have been giving myself like an easy cheat just by saying, oh, I think I'm going to read this craft book today. No, I need to write. So I have writing things pulled up today rather than allowing myself to read. So I have stuff to do. So Elizabeth says Chromebooks are the only computers that you use at the school. Oh, okay. So you're looking for editing software for students, possibly? Good question. I don't, because you can't load programs onto Chromebooks, so it would have to be an online video editor. I'm assuming you're talking about video editing, since we had mentioned video editing prior to this. Is there a cloud-based editing program? I don't know. That's a good question, though. But if nobody has created it yet, I'm sure somebody will soon, or at least they could make a lot of money from it. So, Prophet Moonstruck says, "I guess I should write something now that you're live." Well, we haven't started the first spread yet, so you don't have to be too anxious. Oh goodness, hiccups. Sorry. Writer on Wheels. Hello, it's been a rough week. Oh no, you thought your computer had died, but Dad worked his magic and it lives. Hooray. Hooray, hooray. There are so many things that just like, call Dad. If it doesn't work, call Dad. He might have a suggestion, or he might be able to fix it. And in some families, that's Mom rather than Dad, but there are certain things that I go to for Dad. Technology is one of them. And there are certain things that I go to for Mom, like sewing. I'm like, Mom, how do I hem this? How do I put my button back on so it won't fall off and look ugly? Just an example. So Megan says, today I'll be brainstorming what a person could do for their significant other during fertility treatments. I think this might depend on the type of fertility treatments. So, because I know there are different types of fertility treatments with varying degrees of invasiveness, and a significant other might be there to look into the research as to which ones and what options there are that are available, the cost of them, budgeting for that kind of thing. And also, there are certain ones that have to be done like at the exact time every day. And so making sure that the significant other is helping out around the house to make sure, or helping out in whatever time frame it is, to make sure that the fertility treatment can go on at the exact same time. I'm not explaining this well. So like, say if the wife has to go into at like 5 p.m. every day, then husband or wife who is not having the baby would then have to make sure that if they have guests over, they're entertaining, or if like the food is cooking, they watch the food, that kind of stuff. I don't know. Prophet Moonstruck says, looking classy today. Oh, thank you. I actually put on some makeup today. I'm not feeling myself without my eyeliner, so. Rosalind is here. Hello. Welcome. You like the interpretation? Oh, good. Sometimes I get it right, I think. Miriam says, hello. I hope everyone is well. I hope so, too. Elizabeth says, I need to fill my creative well, so you're going to read one of the books that you got for your birthday. The Obelisk Gate. Yay! And Rosalind says, I'm wondering which book Kevin the writer hates so much. Did he post something about a book that he hates? I'm not sure. Did I miss a video update? I will have to check later. All right, let's go ahead and do a sprint. We're going to set up for a 15-minute warm-up because today is a longer session. It's 3 hours instead of 2. So we are going to need a ease into it, I guess. We're going to use HK's newest timer. Make it big. No, don't start yet. Why did you start? Right, so we have a lovely beach at either sunrise or sunset. And we have the quote from Estee Lauder. I didn't get there by wishing for it, but by working for it. Yes, that is a good thing to remember, that manifestation is not only visualizing, but also working for it. So, all righty. Prophet says to Megan, the person could study about the synchronicity with the moon cycles to increase the fertility window and potence. Yes, that is also a possibility. Thank you. That probably made way more sense than what I was attempting to say. Rosalind says apparently the book is a craft book specifically for fantasy. Do I have one of those? I think I do. Whether or not it's the one that Kevin doesn't care for, I don't know. I will have to look. I'll do that later. All right, so go ahead and pull your document open if you haven't already done so. If you have your document open, go ahead and save it. Make sure you have something to hydrate with. Make sure that you straighten your spine and roll your shoulders back. And make sure that if you need a break, take a break. Those are your reminders. And we can get started with a warm-up sprint in 15 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Alrighty, that was the first sprint. How'd you do? I did some planning in my journal for next week, and I have gotten 151 words written. Some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't, but that's okay. This will be cleaned up a lot later. So for right now, a messy first draft of this is not so bad. Getting down some ideas that I wrote for my 3 a.m. thoughts, and sort of deciphering what it was I was saying or typing at 3 a.m. because sometimes that's a bit of a problem. So don't forget to save. Don't forget to hydrate. So make sure that you do those 2 things. So let me check and see how y'all did it in the chat. So Perez, hello. You want to know what the book is about. And so I was asking which book. Since we were all working on different books, so I wasn't sure if you were asking about the books that we're working on or about the book that Lynn was mentioning that Kevin had referenced apparently in a recent video. Okay, so Legend of Rune, hello. You're working on your outline. You were almost finished with it, and you're hoping to finish the first draft by the end of the year. You might be a little ambitious. It is okay to be ambitious, and once you get into it, you may find that it goes faster than you think, or you may find yourself reevaluating your deadline after a quarter or so. So just take it as you can. Brad says just any book in general, the one we're writing. So I have 2 main works in progress. I have my YA fantasy, which I've been calling Project Gray. I do have an actual working title for it, but I'm not ready to like reveal that because I have like 2 sets of titles, and Becca knows this, but because I have run them past her. But I have 2 sets of titles for the trilogy that I'm hoping that it will be, and I'm so torn about the name for the titles because it could go either way. Either choice is fine. And then I have a paranormal romance that I'm calling the Chimera Moon series because there are shapeshifters, aka chimeras, and it started as my moon phase experiment to write by the phases of the moon. So Chimera Moon, there you go. So Sid says, hello, I totally got distracted. You'll write the next sprint. I have definitely done that before. So Becca says, hello to Sid. And Christina got 334. Nice. You got 1 extra word over that 333. Sid says, hey to Becca. And are you working on the audiobook or is it still loud? Well, now that I'm talking, I'm sure it's louder than. So Prophet says, I started learning about the phases of the moon. Always wanted to do that. So why not do it now? Yes. So the phases of the moon are quite interesting. And I took some advice from a friend of mine who her initial thought was, well, try an experiment where you write with the waxing. So you add words during the waxing phases, and then you edit or subtract words during the waning phases. So that was kind of like how the idea sparked. But of course, like I couldn't make it that simple. I had to make it way, way more complex. So I essentially gave myself some tasks for each phase of the moon for the month of October. So this was during my Preptober for last year. So I have a video on it in case you want to watch it, about all the different kinds of things that you could do for each moon phase. So if you want to watch it, feel free to. Rose says, can I do a bookshelf tour? Maybe at some point, but not today. So Becca says, you watched Kevin's from from Kevlandia's video. Okay, so I will he's definitely put out a new video then, and I'll have to watch that for sure. Sonia got 141 words. Excellent. Yay. Elizabeth says, loving the book already, although I have to have your English dictionary open for this one. Alveoli is the medical terms for lungs, if anyone was wondering. Did not know that. Megan also watched Kevin's newest video because you got curious. And yeah, so everybody's watching the video. Also, we're thinking of things your lesbian couple could do for each other during fertility treatments. Nice. Good, good, good. Yeah, I can't tell you a whole lot because I only know sort of like peripheral things. One of my friends is doing fertility treatments at the moment. She really would love to be a mom. And so what I know is mostly what she has talked about, but I'm trying real hard not to be like all intrusive about it because I know it's an extremely emotionally vulnerable place for women to go through. So I try not to be like too nosy about things. I'm just going to let her tell me when she's ready. And, if she tells me to like butt out, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I won't ask again, so, but she'll be a great mom. Whether she does it through fertility or adoption, she'll be a great mom. So, Brighter on Wheels says, got some admin stuff done. I'm slowly but surely getting my Notion set up how you want it. Lovely. Lovely. Becca says to Sid, I'm actually setting up the DIY booth today in your closet. Crossing your fingers. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I'm excited about it. And Megan says, it sounds like a type of pasta, not the lungs. Doesn't it, though? And it didn't help your understanding in the context when the sentence was, his alveoli suddenly absorbed more than they should. Why would you use that term? Like, why wouldn't you just use lungs? And are they absorbing more air or are they absorbing water? In which case, any of it is too much. That's confusing. That's really confusing. Perez says, I wrote 1 million words today. Did you reached your Milwordy? Is that what were you doing the Milwordy in a year? That's awesome. Is it all in like one story, or multiple stories? Now I'm curious, like, because this is a feat. This is a huge feat. During the tracking, for a year, I did over 500,000. So I have not reached the 1 million words in a year yet, but that is awesome. Congrats. Yes, Elizabeth says congrats as well. And thank you. And the Legend of Rune says, I'm also going to be a beta reader for my new friend's werewolf story when they're finished with it, and they will be my beta reader when you are finished. You're excited. Yay! And Perez is not looking forward to editing those 1 million words. Yeah. Devin says, you could try for 1 billion by the end of the day. No, thank you. Just no, thank you. And that's exactly what Perez says. No, thanks. Maybe over the course of several years, sure, but not for by the end of the day or by the end of the year. Sid is excited and can't wait to see the new video as well. And Perez says it's all in one story. It's a lot. But yeah, the editing will be a feat, won't it? Elizabeth says, I think it's because the character is more of a professor. Oh, so you gotta like toss in all of the fancy words. Also, he is turning into some kind of monster that is stone-like / cold and analytical. So you think it makes sense that he is using more medical and intricate words. Gotcha. Okay. Okay, yeah. So definitely elevate the vocabulary then. Where I think, okay, so Tamara Pierce with the series with Dane as the main character. She has a sorcerer character, Numair, and he uses fancy schmancy words all the time. And one of the characters asks him about it because he came from a not well-to-do family. And so Numair explains that, well, I went back home and I talked like I normally did, and my parents got mad because they're like, why did I spend all this money to send you to all these schools and you still talk like you used to? So, yeah. Perez says, guys, suggest some movies about authors. Movies about authors. You've got one, Wonder Boys, which is about a writer who works at a university and is struggling with writer's block. So there are a couple of movies about writers, whether or not you want them to be fiction, like not about real authors, or whether or not you want them to be more biography type videos. Oh God. I'm thinking of the one where, nope, that's more of reading than writing. I know there are a couple of movies that are loosely based on like Hemingway's life. Can't remember the title of them, but there are a couple. I'm going to try and remember what they are, and then I'll put them in the chat. But if y'all know of some, go ahead and put it in the chat because I can't remember it off the top of my head. Laura's asked, do you suggest writing intricate or non-intricate? This depends on your story and your target audience as well. If you are wanting something that is more YA or for younger audience, you should probably be aiming for a mixture, because their brains are capable of definitely understanding all of the things. I mean, but you don't want to make them like work for it a whole lot of time if you want them to enjoy the story and continue picking it up, because a lot of times now students read in shorter spates, and so it's easier for audiences to put things down and then not pick them up if you don't have like a good enough storyline or pacing and things like that. Of course, that's true for not young adults as well. But yeah, the Numair's character in Tamara Pierce's books are like fantastic. I love his character. Devin says, Authors Anonymous is a funny movie. Ooh, hadn't heard that one. Megan says, Bright Star is about a poet. Perez likes Capote, or Capote, an author movie. Okay, so you're looking at real authors. Gotcha. I think there was one about the guy who wrote Peter Pan, right? Becca says adaptation, directed by Spike Jones. And Elizabeth says, I think it depends on the character's POV if you write intricate or not. Yeah. You tend to write not very intricate scenes since you're writing for junior/high school. Yeah. It's written by Charlie Kaufman and based on his time where he had writer's block. Gotcha. Okay, so Perez is writing an adult novel, so you don't necessarily have to worry about... yeah, I think this depends on your characters. Like if it's out of character for them to be speaking with a high vocabulary, or if the situation doesn't necessarily call for it, because like you're not going to have somebody using the medical terminology for, say, excrement when they get into a car accident. They're going to say something like, oh shit. So it depends, I think, on the context of the character and what's happening. For example, you can see Charlie Kaufman's author hardships. Yeah. All right, y'all. Let's do another sprint because I'm getting distracted. Okay. Let's do. Do we want to do a 25 or a 30? Let's just do a 25. Share. Like. Okay. This is the 25-minute version of the same timer. Okay, so we'll do 25 this time, and then maybe we'll up it up. We'll up it up to 30. Yes, please, words. Don't forget to save. Don't forget to hydrate. Make sure that you straighten your spine and roll your shoulders back for a posture check. And make sure that if you need a break, take a break. Those are your 4 reminders. And also, don't forget, this is the second sprint, so it is self-promo time in the chat. If you have something that you would like to share, your social media, your websites, your Amazon author pages, new videos that you have, etc., now's the time to do it in the chat. Just don't forget that if you do not have a blue wrench of power, you will not be able to post direct links. All right. So, 25 minutes, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! All right, y'all, I need to finish this sentence and this idea so you can continue to put your self-promo in the chat as I finish this. Okay. Got that idea finished. So I'm now up to 876 words. So that was a very good sprint for me, considering I was only at about 151 for the first sprint. So this is a very good sprint. It's a good one. I think, is this going to be the end of my notes for that one? Dum-de-dum-de-dum. No. Okay, I've got another one to do. So I've got, I just have one of my notes pulled up from one of the notes apps, and that's where I put my ramblings at 3 a.m. And then I have to transcribe them later, and I usually do it like about once a month. So this is nearing the end of the month. So, and I forget that I have these ideas until I look back through them. And sometimes they're like super, like they're just part of a scene. And then sometimes they're like whole story ideas or like premise anyway. So like one of them, I have just the beginning of a scene. And so she woke up in a metal barrel half full of water. For a moment, she thought she'd fallen asleep in the bathtub, but then she remembered the mafia had caught up with her. The last thing she remembered from last night was seeing the face of a familiar-looking thug and trying to make a run for it. Judging from the pain in her skull, they must have bashed her over the head. A concussion for sure, she thought. Like, that's it. That's the whole note. That's all I got. I fell back asleep after that. Whereas I have, for a different one, I have, like, the first thing I wrote was like, I have a vampire male lead and a human female lead. It's a post-apocalyptic, or at least a martial law imposed on the city. The female lead has to sneak out of the city because she needs a resource that's only available outside of the city gates for a vulnerable family member. But she can't go by herself. So she hires the vampire male lead to be both a guard and a guide. But then there's a problem that occurs, and apparently whatever resource she needs is either related to an animal that is able to like camouflage itself, or it's hidden in an illusion barrier-esque blocked area. And so they then have to go and find an illegal spellcaster to cast and I wrote this down, color sight spell on them. And I'm like, color sight spell, what does that mean? I don't know. Maybe it allows them to see auras, in which case that would be the, like, more like if they're hunting for a specific animal, or it might be able to like break illusions or something, but I don't know. It was just like, it's a color sight spell. I don't know what that means. I still don't know what that means, even not at 3 a.m. So just like, I have a whole story like set up, ready to go. And the mafia story is definitely not this vampire story. And like, it's just two totally different ideas. And then I think I mentioned the other day that I had a shiny new idea at 3 a.m. for a Western story. So I added that into my document. So this is my story dreams document, is what that is. So there you go. That's how my brain works at 3 a.m. And it works randomly. But yes. Okay, let's scroll back up and see. So Megan asks, have you checked out the authortube chronic illness and disability tag? Watch the entire playlist here. And there's the playlist. And also, Megan McCarthy author.wordpress.com is Megan's website. And Devin has a link tree and more live stream playlists, which are always so helpful. Right on Wheel says, going to go shower and rinse the dye out of my hair. Hopefully I'll be back at the end of the sprint. Excellent. CB says, hello, I'm just back from the cinema. Excellent. Fun times. Was the movie good? I hope it was. Just Eva says, Dead Poets Society. Oh, such a good movie. Such a good movie. Just Eva says, Julie and Julia, maybe. The Secret Window. Devin says, misery. Just Eva says, and hey, happy first day of summer. Happy first day of summer. I think yeah, that is today, isn't it? Just Eva says, 11/22/63. The main character is very like King himself. English teacher, writer, etc. Yeah, definitely some autobiographical moments in there. Just Eva says, now that I think about it, most of the films based on, yeah, yes, based on King novels have bits of his life in them, don't they? Yeah. Elizabeth says, I'm back with a live stream this Thursday at 6 p.m. GMT +1, which means it is not at 1 p.m. Eastern, it is at noon Eastern. So Claude is here. Hello, welcome. Hope you're having a good day. And are you writing something, you're being productive, or are you taking this Sunday to be dawdling and relaxing? Diane says, hello. What is the longest you've ever spent writing? Are we talking time-wise? Time-wise, in a chunk of time, that would probably be one of the like later nano dates where I'm like frantically trying to get up to the correct word count. I think I did 13K in a day once. I think that's my like all-time high. But I was like burnt out for 6 days after that. But if we're talking the like largest text that I've written, Project Gray is over 100,000 words and still going. Claude says, amazing so far. Plotting scene cards and finding ideas for your debate section. Ooh, and it's going great. Excellent. You are stuck, but you think by the end of the day you will complete the section. Hooray for getting unstuck. It's amazing. How long do you reckon writing this current book will take? Okay, so Project Gray, I have a self-imposed deadline. I would like to get it through the editing process and ready to do PitMad in September. So I have 3 more months to do that with, which it's doable, but it's going to be a lot. And then, so my goal is to get it to be around somewhere between 80 and 100K all total. So I have to finish adding in the parts that I think are necessary and then go back in and cut a whole lot. And then with the Chimera Moon story, I'm initially aiming for 80K. I don't know if it's going to wiggle its way up to 100K, but my goal is at least initially for like a well drafted first draft, because it's a relatively clean draft, to be about 80K, maybe 85. It'll probably be 100, but who knows? Sonia says 274. Nice. Excellent. Elizabeth says, planned a live stream, read some more, and got cheese and crackers. Lovely. CB says, I saw In the Heights. Yes. Okay, that's what I remember you mentioning that. And it was amazing. You're going to have dinner now and then back to writing. Excellent. I'm glad it was good. The Legend of Rune says, outlining the part in my story where the main character discovers she has an ability that she didn't know about until now. I'm excited to write it. Hooray! You are still into the moon phases thing. You think you kind of got it a little. You will learn the French names for them next sprint. The French names. Are you writing in French, or is your character French, or is it set in France? Or are you just wanting to add a little bit of flair to the phases? I'm curious now. Why did you start writing and when? So the first full story that I wrote was in like 2nd or 3rd grade. I have a video about it, about my first little story, my werewolf story. And I have been on and off writing since then. So yeah. What do I use to write documents on my computer? So I mainly use Microsoft Word. I do have Scrivener, and that's what I drafted Project Gray in. But now that I'm in editing for Project Gray, I switched back to Microsoft because I find it's easier to edit as a whole rather than in parts. I have used Google as more of like a backup. But yeah. So, and I also handwrite. I have tons of notebooks around. So, Ellie Vera says, hello, welcome, welcome. Stephen King's more recent novels have clearly changed in style, and the old King's writing I think is better. It depends on which ones you're talking about. Are you talking about the ones that he was under the influence for, or are you talking about the ones after he escaped the influence and was back to purposefully writing? So here's the thing. I don't care for his fiction. I know that's kind of blasphemous to say. I do not care for his fiction. However, I much prefer, his memoir on writing is fantastic. I love the way that he words things and explains things in there. But I just don't care for his stories. I like his writing style. I don't care for his stories. Stupid, I know. Weird. I'm weird. What can I say? Elvira says, I'm here to be productive, trying to catch up with work. All right, we will use another sprint in just a moment. And HK Darkwood, hello! You're working on edits and admin work. Lovely. I'm enjoying your new timers. They're gorgeous. So thank you for making them. Elvira says, I really do miss writing my story, but unfortunately work stuff has to be done. Yeah. Yep. Elizabeth says, you can do it. Stephen King says you should be able to write a novel in the time limit of 3 months, or your story will be too dense. So everybody's writing process is very different. There are some people who can fast draft, and Stephen King is one of them. Nora Roberts is another one. In fact, she's probably faster than Stephen King. In fact, I know she is. My guess is that most of the prolific, popular writers can do this. Yes. However, I'm still learning, so I have not got this down yet. So, Do you believe in some writing cliches? Some of them, but some of them no. Ellie Vera says, thanks. I'm hoping July might be better and I have more time for writing. Excellent. Tropes are extremely useful as guides. So there's a reason why they're popular. Yep. Maybe you can have that as kind of like a reward to keep the motivation up for work. Yes. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so you moved in France, so you have to learn French too. So in any new thing you're learning, you try to learn it in French as well. Gotcha. Okay, that sounds good. Excellent. I kind of enjoyed Mr. Mercedes, but other than that, you're not a big King fan. Yeah. definitely going to have writing as your reward after all this is done. The conference coming up in a couple of weeks, so you're starting to feel, yes. You can imagine, yes. But believe in yourself and the work you have put in, and I think it'll be very good. Exactly. And Rider on Wheels, you're back and your hair is purple again. All is right with the world. Yay! Excellent. All right, on that note, let's do another sprint. And we're going to up it to 30 minutes. We're just going to use all the new timers for today. Ooh, so close. All right, so we are going to use 30 minutes and 31 seconds of HK Darkwood's 45-minute timer because I can't do 45 at the moment. My brain just is not happening with that. So 30 minutes and 31 seconds. Don't forget to save. Don't forget to hydrate. Make sure that you straighten your spine and roll your shoulders back. And make sure that if you need a break, take a break. So those are your reminders. We can now go ahead and get started. 30 minutes and 31 seconds in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Alrighty, that was our third sprint. How'd you do? I switched documents, so I switched over to a different part of my work today, and I'm doing editing, so I don't have a real word count number, but I got through like maybe 5 or 6 pages of editing, so not bad. Not as good as I would like, but some definite progress in that sprint. So yeah. Alrighty. So B.A. Pascar made it. Hooray! You made it before the end of the stream. You hope all is going well, and you just finished a cookout and tie-dye t-shirts. And you're getting ready to start editing a new video. Lovely. I love a good cookout, and tie-dye is always fun. So, you know. And B.A. Pascar says, it was fun. Just a tip. Wear gloves when doing tie-dye. I may or may not know this from experience. Yes. Yes, indeed. And Prophet Moonstrike says, I lost it at the waning crescent phase, where the name is Dernier Croissant, I think, which can easily be translated as the last croissant, which just sounds like a French tragedy title. It does. Well, tragedy, but it could also be murder mystery. You know, because that is definitely between siblings, you know, that's definitely a reason to commit a crime. So Claude says, I really like the quote in that timer. Yes, HK Darkwood finds some really good quotes to go on her timers. I love them. HK has kindly provided the rest of us with some very, very nice and beautiful timers. So Elizabeth Wright says, more reading and you're starting to get sleepy. Oh no. Well, it's okay to go to bed if you need to. CB got 94 words. Excellent. Ellie Vera says, just ticking things off my list, but also planning for experiments this week. You didn't get to do much of your work as much of your time was taken up by guiding your student. Sometimes that happens. Yes, it's a very good quote. I like it. Christina says, researching superpowers, so no new words. Yeah. Researching like what is plausible, especially if you're going to be putting some sort of like theory behind it, is definitely a necessary thing, but it can take you down a rabbit hole, because as soon as you start figuring out or trying to figure out what would be the limitations, how are the physics and the mechanics of this going to work, all this other kind of stuff, it becomes a lot. Who is my favorite writer? I do not have like a one author above everything else, but so I love Anne McCaffrey. I love Mercedes Lackey for my sort of like fantasy and sci-fi. Love Tolkien, of course. I do like Nora Roberts, because you can't escape that if you like romance. I like Shelley Lawrenston. She's very humorous paranormal romance. There are several books by Toni Morrison that I adore. I really like what I have read so far of N.K. Jemison's things. But then I'm also like a huge fan of like the old epics, like the Odyssey. I love. Gilgamesh is good. I think it's not for me as good as and entertaining as the Odyssey, but I love parts of it. I also really love Beowulf, parts of it. So like Tamara Pierce for just about everything that she's written. I love some of Pierce Anthony's like tongue-in-cheek puns in the Xanth novels, but I also really love On a Pale Horse, where the main character accidentally kills death. If you haven't read that, it's amazing. I love Terry Pratchett. Who else? I have so many, and I'm one of the other sort of like romance authors that I love is actually 3 pen names. So Jane Ann Krentz, but she has Jane Castle for her futuristic, Jane Ann Krentz for contemporary, and Amanda Quick for historical. And then she eventually weaved them all together into the same universe, and it's amazing. Who else do I like? Sherilyn Kenyon and Christine Feehan for some more paranormal romance. Robin McKinley is another good one. And there's one I found this, it was a fascinating book, but I've never actually found any other ones by her. Diane Farrow Francis or Francis Farrow. I don't remember. But it's On Black Sails. I'm gonna have to remember the title of that. But it's a really interesting, like really weird concepts put together. What is the name of that? Good Lord, it's gonna bother me. Where are you? No, The Black Ship by Diana Farrow Francis. Yeah, The Black Ship. Yeah. So I like a whole lot of things. Just like a lot of things. I can't help myself. And I like manga, as you can probably tell from over there. So One Piece for sure, by my Chopper characters in the background there. So lots of names. I can't just pick one. I just can't. I know there are some people that they have like an ultimate writer, and I love too much to pick one. So Writer on Wheels said, schedule this week's blog post about your quarterly goals, getting next week's, which you've been reading, as ready as it can be, but hoping you can finish your current book to add that to. Gotcha. CB says, I'm going bowling on Friday and I can't wait. Ooh, yay. Hooray for getting back to normal. Elizabeth says, yes, soon. Only 1 chapter more. And then maybe another. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just going to read 1 more chapter. Like turns into 4 a.m. Megan says, I was still brainstorming, but you got a snack. Excellent. Hooray. And HK Darkwood is still editing. The never-ending process. Olivia says, yay for Tamara Pierce. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I love, I think, almost everything that she has written. There's only, like, the end of one of the novels I got a little mad at her for, which, if you have read Mastiff, you will know why. I mean, it was definitely sort of like a necessary plot point, but it made me mad. Writer on Wheels says, I haven't read any NK yet, but she's been mentioned enough lately that she's moved up on your list. Yes, you just have to get to Sanderson first. Ah, okay. I also, next on my list, after I finish my NK Jemisin list, is going to be Octavia or Olivia Butler. I think I screwed it up. I think it's Olivia. No, it is Octavia Butler. Okay. Yeah. So but that's going to be in process. So currently on the Final Empire, and so far you've enjoyed reading it. Excellent. CB says, my all-time favorite author is Roald Dahl. Your current favorite authors are Anne M. Martin and Jacqueline Wilson, and no, you are not a child. There are aspects of those like childhood stories that just are really, really good. And there's no shame in saying that they're your favorite authors, because they do have such an impact on forming the way that we look at the world. So there's no shame. Ellie Veer says, Lo, I don't have an ultimate pick either. Yeah, I just can't. I can't. Writer on Wheels says, I'm about 25% through Mistborn and you love it so much. You just need to read more in general. Yeah. Yeah. Same. You're loving the world a lot and the magic system a lot as well. Yes. The author who shall not be named was your favorite, but she's not a good human being. So understandable. Very understandable. And I think a lot of people feel like this. Olivier says, lol, I realized I tagged myself instead of Writer on Wheels. Gotcha. Legend of Rune says, I thought my current book was only going to be 3 books, but as you've gotten the ending outline, it's looking more like 4 or more, which is fine. Yeah, Roald Dahl. I'm trying to think of what are some of the other. Ursula K. Le Guin is a good early sci-fi fantasy pioneer. I think it's Elizabeth Moon who wrote the Paxenarian series that I like. There are so many good ones, and I will sit there and I will read a whole collection of fairy tales, because that was like, I would go to my library and I would check out the different colored fairy tale books by that were collected by Andrew Lang, because that was entertaining for me. And so now I have 2 giant coffee table book sized, like the 2 tomes of all them put together. So yeah, I'm kind of a weird eclectic mix of stories. Do I read classic books? Oh, I read like all kinds of stuff. So over on my shelf that you can't see over here, I've got things that range from Sherlock Holmes to Hugh Howey's Wool, and I've got my craft books. I've got collections of fairy tales, and I've got a couple, like 5 different versions of the Arabian Nights and Grimm's, because that's how weird I am, because they're translated different and the details are different, so I gotta have them all. Stevie says, that being said, about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban is still one of your favorites of the series. Yeah, you can still love the story and not like her as a person, and that's fine. No, it's fine. Don't judge anyone for any reason which makes you a better human than her. Yeah. Writer on Wheels says, it happens, meaning the tags. Have you seen Sanderson's classes on YouTube? Yes. I've been trying to make my way through those. But there are... It's like, do I really want to sit down for a 30 or 45-minute class, or do I want to watch like a 5-minute video of TikTok compilations? And sadly, the answer is often the other one. So, no. All right. Let's do another sprint and save me from my own distractions. Alrighty. So, don't forget to save. Don't forget to hydrate. I'm going to have to disappear and refill my glass. Make sure that you straighten your spine and roll your shoulders back for a posture check. And make sure that if you need a break, take a break. We're going to get started with 25 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Alrighty, that was the 4th sprint. I got close to 10 pages edited that time, so progress. Still progress. So how are we doing? Chandra popped in. Hello. And hashtag chipper Chandra. Lovely. So you ran errands all morning and you are ready to get some editing in, or possibly a nap. Gotcha. And Claude says, time to read a bit to take a break. You're at chapter 20 of Sako's book. Excellent. And Chandra says, isn't it so good? Lovely. Yes, I was muted for a second there. I felt the need to cough and I didn't want to blow your ears out with the microphone. So 98 words for CB. Excellent. All right. We have essentially 15 minutes left before the top of the hour. So we could do a full 15 and then just say a real quick goodbye, or we could do a 10-minute and then have more time to say goodbye. Which would you prefer, a 10 or a 15? Legend of Rune says, I reached 12K in my outline. Hooray! But a lot of that is character information and background information. Still all good, because that's going to be what helps you write the draft later. What is your favorite genre of writing? Something that's going to entertain me. Like that crosses multiple genres. As long as it's entertaining, I will read it. So, Capmora, hello, you got 56 words. People are yelling around you. Oh no, that's not conducive to writing at all. Is it right? Are they yelling something that then could be like fuel or fodder for a scene in a book at some point? If you want to pay attention to them, you could pay attention to body language and all that kind of stuff. But otherwise, yikes, that's no good. No bueno. Writer on Wheels says, decided to add images to all the covers of your Q2 books read blog post, so you didn't quite finish. But that makes your blog post more visually appealing, so. BA says, I got the video edited, hooray, and you're now exporting. Awesome. That's quick work. My editing takes so long. Thumbnail and posting is next. Check off the list. Excellent. And Chandra is rereading, and you're almost done with Feverborn. Nice. So Perez votes for 15, as does CB and Legend of Room. Excellent. Okay. All right. I will pull up a 15 real quick. And oh, so you muted your video. Gotcha. HK's editing and finally made dinner. Lovely. Perez says, what is an outline? I just start with my first draft. Yes, and that is fine too if that process works for you. So Elvira says, now started to work on your presentation, just trying to break the whole story down into points so it's not so overwhelming. Lovely. That's always a good idea. You know, a lot of the skills you use during your presentations for work is also what you use for your stories. Yeah, because essentially you have to entertain people for however long your presentation is. And whether or not that entertainment comes with education as well is just how things go sometimes. So, all right. So we are going to do this cool down 15-minute sprint. So don't forget to save. Don't forget to sip whatever you're hydrating. Don't forget to straighten your spine, stretch, and make sure that if you need a break, take a break. All right. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Alrighty, that was the end of our 5th sprint. And that's the end of our session today. I did get another 5.5 pages edited, so that was overall a really good editing stream for me today, so that's good. Hooray, I feel like I've made some progress. Sometimes it just, like after I have been away from the editing for a while, it feels like it takes me a while to get back into the role of it, but I did good. So yeah. Oh, Claude says that DMing in Dungeons and Dragons also helps storytelling, including in presentations as well. So Elizabeth says, and I'm done for the night. You have 2 more days of work and then finally summer break. Hooray! That's exciting. And Chandra says, I finished reading my book, started editing, and realized that you have a character that you never named. Oops. Oh no, one of those. Were they in brackets, just out of curiosity? Because that's what I would do. The pain and joy of editing. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Ellie Vera also agrees with Dungeons and Dragons DMing. And Ellie Vera says, yay, well done. What is your favorite book based on a movie? You mean that it was originally a movie and then they released the book version, or just like the adaptation? I do dearly love the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings trilogy, so that's high up on my list. So yeah, D&D in general helps a ton with writing. You make much better characters now. Hooray. And BA got the video exported. Hooray! You might upload it and post it tonight. Thanks for the stream. You're welcome. I'm glad you got to join too. Alrighty. What is a book that you love but is controversial, and for what reason for that occurrence? Oh, there are lots of these, and for a variety of reasons. So for Anne McCaffrey, I love most of everything that she's written, but specifically with the Dragons of Pern, there is a question of consent in an aspect of the relations, which I'm not a fan of. There are, like, even with Roald Dahl and the some of those classics, there are questions of essentially anti-Semitic propaganda in some form or fashion, because the witches characters were stereotypical depictions of Jewish people taken to the extreme and put in a negative light. If I'm remembering the whole thing correctly, with Harry Potter, there's also what J.K. Rowling did. In general, a whole lot of the classics have some real issues. So things like that. There's a lot. It's one of the last chapters. Something you added on. Gotcha. One has no first name, one has a placeholder name from another book, and one is just XXX. Nice. Whereas it meant to say movie based on books. Yeah, I figured. CB says 314 words. Lovely. CB says Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Yeah, for sure. The new version of the Witches movie is apparently very ableist. Yeah, that too. That too. There's a whole lot of everything in a lot of books. So, alrighty. I think that's going to be it for me. I will be back Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern. I do have to still create those streams tonight, though. So that's going to be on my to-do list for after the stream. But make sure that you have a happy Father's Day, a happy first day of summer, and I will see y'all later. I have to go make cherry pie for Dad because that's his favorite dessert. So that's what we're having tonight for dessert after dinner. So, all right. Thank you very much, and I will see y'all later. Bye.